The killer in this movie is unforgettable. A masked, machete-wielding psychopath with red, glowing, heart-shaped eyes. Welcome back, ghouls and gals. Today we are talking all things Heart Eyes from 2025, directed by Josh Ruben. And I love Josh Ruben. I feel like he gets comedy horror, and we will get there. But if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give this a thumbs up, subscribe for more, check out all of my links down below if you would like to see any more of me or support the channel any further. I thought this would be the perfect movie to cover for our anti-Valentine's Day theme, and we will also get there. I just think that the premise of this movie is so like quintessential Valentine's Day with at the same time being anti-Valentine's Day. When the Heart Eyes killer strikes Seattle, a pair of co-workers pulling overtime on Valentine's Day are mistaken for a couple by the elusive couple hunting killer. Now they must spend the most romantic night of the year running for their lives. So that's the thing that makes this anti-Valentine's Day. It is about a killer. It's our slasher, our psychopath, if you will, that is going after people who are in love and who are celebrating Valentine's Day, who are just in romance. And like I said, this is comedy horror done right. Josh Ruben really understands tone, and he really understands how to present comedic horror. Horror comedy is different, in my opinion. Horror comedy is where the main focus is horror with some comedic relief. But this is mostly like you want to laugh, you want to enjoy this. It is romantic comedy, but at the same time, you're getting the slasher violence. With this movie, we also get Christopher Landon on the writing team, and he did Happy Death Day. He's done Spontaneous. I even believe he did a Paranormal Activity film. Anyways, I think he has a really good eye for comedy horror as well, and having him on the writing team made the movie have a touch of people who understand how to make you laugh and how to also give you those jump scares and cause genuine adrenaline rushes. And with this movie, we get really good campy romance almost in the beginning. I will talk about this again, but in the opening scene, it almost feels Hallmarky, but it really just keeps pulling back layers and layers until it is a full slasher. It's a chaotic Valentine's Day film with a twist that I'm not sure I enjoyed. I'm not going to spoil too much, but this movie did have some good casting with Mason Gooding, Olivia Holt. I feel like they did a really good job in this movie, but the nostalgia casting with Devon Sawa and Jordana Brewster, I feel like that whole twist with the movie, I didn't like that aspect. And like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything with this one because it is so new, and I wanted you guys, like, it was released within the past year from now, and I want you guys to experience and enjoy this movie. But there is a whole ending scene, a kink shamey bit. I just wasn't vibing with it, but the rest of this movie, fantastic. The killer himself is honestly unforgettable. It feels like a generic killer, like a slasher mask, but it is almost like the heart eye emoji personified. He uses a machete, has glowing red heart-shaped eyes, and obviously he punishes love in all forms. And one thing I will direct you guys to is an episode of one of my favorite podcasts, Colors of the Dark. It is the episode titled Dark Valentines from last year, 2025. Josh Ruben is a guest, and it is from just before Heart Eyes was released. So you really get some insider baseball. It is really good. I just think that Josh Ruben he's so fascinating to listen to because he understands the horror genre. He really gets it. So it is a treat to listen to him talk about the release of the movie. So I highly recommend that. What I did learn from that episode is that the actor who plays the Heart Eyes killer, he was pretty well blind while playing that role. There was LED lights in his eyes blinding him the whole time. So he was just winging it, and I think that's the dedication is pretty cool. And speaking of the mask, the FX team, they went through so many iterations of the mask before finally deciding on which one they wanted. The finished product is way more asymmetrical. Gonna be honest with you guys, I was midway through this video and I forgot I had cupcakes in the oven. Anyways, the effects team for this movie, they went through many iterations of the mask before deciding on the final product, the actual final product being a little more asymmetrical to feel like it gives a little more of unease when you're watching him. I will say for a slasher, this is very fun. It had really good pacing. Like I said, a really good choice in leads. And at the end of the movie, I did find myself asking myself, did I enjoy the movie? Did I have a good time? Was I enthralled? I was. I had a great time watching it, and I would watch it again. Much of the practical effects and the gore was done in camera to kind of achieve classic horror filmmaking, and I really appreciate that. I referenced the cold open earlier, and it really does set the tone for what you're going to get. It is the cheesy hallmark. Josh Ruben wanted a Nora Ephron-esque film, which I feel like is very specific, but when you watch the movie, like, you'll definitely understand. But the cold open, it shows us that this is going to be more. It starts off as a rom-com, but this is going to be way more. Like, your expectations, throw them out the window. It becomes a real slasher with real stakes. And in this film, the target is couples. The target is going after happiness and going after couples. And like I already mentioned in previous videos, I'm very happily engaged, but I don't like rom-coms. I don't like romance in my horror, but this kind of romance in my horror I can get down with. It almost shows us that vulnerability is dangerous, and falling for someone, falling in love with someone, it just makes you easier to hurt in the long run, and that's the lesson you can take away from this one, I guess. And my theme for this themed week, you guys know I do themed weeks here on the channel. The theme is anti-Valentines, and we started off with a list of movies that I would not consider romantic movies, and we did a podcast episode on Habit, one of the sexiest vampire movies, but also a very non-romantic film at the same time. And then we're finishing off with Hard Eyes, a film where the killer is directly going after love, couples, relationships. And I think that's a great way to bookend our week. Next month, we're getting back into cult horror movie week, and I can't wait. But at the end of the day, Hard Eyes is the anti-Valentines, the Valentines slasher that we genuinely do need. It's something different. It's something fun. At the same time, it still gives us those essential rom-com vibes, and I know people do like that around this time of year, but whatever, I digress. I enjoyed this movie. 3.5 out of 5. Solid film. Love Josh Ruben. If you guys have not seen Scare Me, check it out. It's on Shudder. Anyways, I'll leave you there. I have some really fun stuff planned going forward, so stick around and what's the phrase the kids use? FAFO? Fuck around, find out? I don't know. Whatever. I'll see you guys soon. Sayonara, Spooky Fam.